Hello mate, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Project 36. We've got another Ascendancy class for you today, and this one harkens all the way back to 2019 at Exilecon when we were originally shown the Beastmaster.
This is what we're calling the Beastmaster. She likes beasts, particularly cats. Yep, so...
I think like many of you, I loved the idea of having a shape-shifting style Ascendancy on the other side of the tree to the Druid, and it fits perfectly on the Huntress. So here is what we've cooked up for what we think the Beastmaster might look like. Let's get into it. Alright, and here we are at the presentation screen. As you can see, we've got the tree here, which we will go through shortly. But first, we're going to take a look at some of the lore that we've created and the idea and themes behind the class. The jungle is no place for the timid of heart or weak of body. In the wild, there is one law: eat or be eaten. The Beastmaster not only has survived nature's brutality, but has thrived within it. From the teachings of Beastmasters past and present, to the inspiration provided by the greatest of nature's champions, they have learned from one cruel lesson after another, carving their jungle path to ultimately dominate those that would challenge them and reign as the apex predator. Alright, let's have a look at the themes that we've chosen for this. So aspects, if you're familiar in PoE 1, like aspect of the cat, we've got critical chance, shape-shifting, and bleed. And so on that note, let's get into the nodes and have a look at what we've been cooking up. I think what we'll do is we'll start down on the left, which was very much inspired by one of the trio nodes that we saw at Exilecon. So we're getting some evasion rating and increased attack speed. And then we've got Panther, Cheetah, and Tiger companions. So we'll start at the top with Cheetah. Gain a Cheetah companion that can be mounted. While mounted, gain 10% movement speed. Your Cheetah companion also grants a boon, and this boon gives you 10% increased cooldown recovery speed and 10% more action speed. At the bottom here, you might not be able to see, I've got a little note about what the Cheetah can do as your minion when it's not mounted, and that is it can dash rapidly to foes and blind them, and they move faster than the other cats. Then you'll see a similar sort of structure here. We've got gain the Panther companion, which can be mounted, and whilst mounted it gives a unique mounted effect, which is you have elusive. Your Panther companion also grants a boon, which gives you 10% critical chance, which is base critical chance, and 15% more evasion. And then the Panther can bite, it inflicts armor break, has stealth, and can ambush. And then finally, we've got Tiger companion. And while mounted, this increases your stun threshold, so it doubles your stun threshold. And your Tiger companion boon is 15% increased maximum life and 10% more physical damage. So the Tiger companion will have a flurry of strikes which will aggravate any bleeding, and they can pounce and stun enemies. Alright, so you can pick which of these you want to take. Let's just say we take the Panther, we want to lean into some crit and some stealth, and then you can double down on this. So you've got evasion rating and attack speed again, and then you've got Wild Call. You gain Summon Wildcat skill. It allows you to essentially assign Cheetah, Panther, and Tiger minions that cost 25 spirit each. So this is your ability to get like an army or a gang of cats behind you, and you get to pick which of those in the minion sort of skill UI. You and your Wildcats gain the benefit of all 3 companion boons. Your Wildcats can inflict marks on hit, and the number of enemies that can be marked is equal to the number of Wildcats you have. So this is a way of increasing the number of marks you can get onto enemies, which is scaling directly with the amount of spirit you reserve for the number of cats that you want. So if you want to, you can double down on this. You're gaining all of the boons from the previous things, or you can not take this and then just have your single sort of larger cat. I imagine that the mounted version of these would be a larger version of the Panther, Cheetah, or the Tiger. Alright, so next up, let's move down into our feline duo node. So we've got increased attack speed and damage with attacks, and then we've got feline instinct. So Feline Instinct gives you 20% chance to deflect whilst dual wielding or holding a shield. Deflecting a melee attack will counter with a swipe. Swipe blinds enemies and aggravates any bleeding on them. Deflecting or evading a projectile attack grants 20% movement speed for 2 seconds. So this is your ability to see an attack incoming, deflect it, and then counter, or gain a speed boost, which is going to allow you to close the gap and get into the ranged target that's attacking you. On the other side of this, we've got feline agility. This gives you a ton of stun recovery, so it's like a cat always lands on their feet kind of thing. You're getting 75% reduced movement speed penalty for using skills whilst near enemies. And finally, you've got 25% increased speed and turning of dodge roll whilst near enemies. So this is really a movement and a mobility in and around combat. You're going to feel very agile if you take this node. And then doubling down on this sort of feline quality, we've got some more attack speed and damage. And then we've got 9 lives. Luck is in your nature. Gain a cat's life every 4 seconds you haven't been hit. You can have a maximum of 9 cat lives. A cat's life is consumed each time you are hit. This hit deals 25% less damage. So this is essentially, if you're evasion stacking, it's essentially a chance to get a limited amount of large, less damage taken. And if a hit would reduce your life to 0, instead consume all of your cat's lives and retain 50 life per stack consumed. So you can essentially, if you had 9 lives and then something dropped you to 0, you would retain 450 life. You cannot block. And that is kind of an important aspect of this, is like there had to be some kind of drawback. It is an incredibly powerful effect, essentially saving you from death. So there might have to be a cooldown on this as well. But one of the drawbacks I wanted to try for this wasn't just a cooldown. It was also the fact that by taking this, you're essentially very agile and you're not able to block attacks. So I thought that was an interesting drawback. And then let's move, I tell you what, we'll go to our top list, one of my favorites, a crowd pleaser. We've got evasion and attack speed, and then we've got Einhar's teachings. So this gives you the Beastmaster skill. Now what does the Beastmaster skill do? It's a spell, it has a minion tag and is a buff, and it reserves 25 spirit. Tame any beast to be your ally. You can summon the tamed beast at will. Whilst summoned, the beast is your minion. Whilst unsummoned, gain an aspect based on the beast's type. So Craic beasts grant aspect to the crab, Saquine beasts grant aspect to the avian, Pharic beasts give aspect to the cat, and Fenimal beasts grant aspect to the spider. If you know much about the bestiary in PoE 1, you'll know all about this, but this essentially gives you different buffs based on the 4 different types of beasts within the game. Alright, so back to Einhar's teachings, we're also getting, whilst summoned, your beast benefits from any wildcat and Farrell's benefits. And then we've got a note here as well saying, whilst unsummoned, you gain the aspect based on their beast type, as it said in the skill. If Farrell's imprint is allocated, then gain 50% increased effect of aspect of the cat. Now, what is Farrell's imprint? What are Farrell's benefits, as we've sort of mentioned there? Perfect time, we'll segue over to those. There are other nodes, and essentially if you have those nodes, then they're also affecting your beast. Just the same as these wildcat aspects here are then going to be giving their boon to your beast as well. Alright, so let's move down to the Farrell stuff. We've got 20 life and 5 mana on hit and 15% chance to bleed. And then we've got Farrell's imprint. The great cat has laid its mark on you. You have aspect of the cat with no reservation. Aspect of the cat grants, and this is different to PoE 1, cat's stealth if you have not attacked in the past 3 seconds, and cat's agility if you have attacked in the past 3 seconds. So cat's stealth grants 20% movement speed, stealth, and increased evasion rating. And cat's agility grants 50% increased critical strike chance, 25% chance to bleed, and 100% increased accuracy. So unlike PoE 1, where they're kind of these timed rotating buffs, this now is hopefully giving the player a bit more agency and allowing them to activate the different aspect, versions of the aspect at will, essentially, or, they can at least behave in a certain way that's going to give them the desired effect. So we've got Farrell's imprint, which gives you that for free. And then we've got ways to sort of embolden the aspect of the cat. So we're gaining life and mana on hit again, and then 15% bleed chance. And then we've got 3 nodes here, and these are essentially taking on different aspects of Farrell's. And maybe you could even do something where once you take these nodes, then you actually get those aspects like physically shown on your character, maybe. But yeah, we've got Farrell's Cruel Claws. So with cat's agility active, you can inflict 2 bleeds on an enemy with one-handed weapons. Lose all non-elemental ailments when you gain cat's stealth. So this is a buff for both cat's agility and cat's stealth. And you'll see it as a pattern here. So this is 2 bleeds you can inflict as long as they're based from one-handed weapons. Next, we've got Farrell's Feral Bite, say that 3 times quick. We've got with Cat's Agility active, your bleeds instead inflict poisons, and with Cat's Stealth active, nearby enemies' poisons are aggravated. So this is something completely unique to, you know, maybe this is on a unique item somewhere, but this is unique to Ascendancies and unique to the game in that way, that you're able to convert your bleeds over to poisons, but then also you're able to aggravate your poisons and essentially get the bleed aggravation buff onto your poisons, which I thought was interesting. And then last of these, we've got Farrell's Keen Eye. With Cat's Stealth, your first attack will bleed with 300% more damage over time. With Cat's Agility active, gain 1% increased critical strike chance per 2 life the enemy has lost. So this is one really good against bosses if you think as they're getting lower and lower, you're increasing your crit strike chance, or rares, or any sort of tanky mob. But the damage over time aspect of this from Cat's Stealth, this is really like the ambush kind of style thing, where say you didn't want to go one-handed weapons and you wanted to have like one big two-hander that you're inflicting massive bleeds on an enemy, then this is a way for you to do that. If you sort of wait 3 seconds, get into Cat's Stealth, move around, and then come back in and engage with a huge dot, and then you can follow up with whatever you want. So that is Farrell's Keen Eye. These are like the Farrell nodes that Einhar is talking about here, where he's saying if you take any of those, then your minion or your beast is going to be getting those benefits as well, which I thought was interesting. Bit of a cross-node synergy here. And then let's go up to the top here. So we've got increased attack speed and damage. So very much a fast attacking, high damage sort of Ascendancy is what I'm imagining here. We've got Entrap and Pounce, an ambush of nature's design. Your melee attacks can leap from 3 meters towards an enemy. This is considered a pouncing attack. So any pouncing attack has a 100% increased critical strike multiplier. Your ranged attacks have a chance to ensnare. Ensnare reduces enemy movement by 6%, and you can have a maximum of 3 stacks. And enemies with 3 stacks of ensnare that you hit with a melee attack are pinned. So this is a way of slowing enemies at range, and then when you do want to come up, close the gap from 3 meters out, you're then pouncing on them. Not only are you getting a huge crit multiplier, but you're also going to be pinning them and sort of locking them in place. So this was a fun thing, playing with that kind of in-out melee range playstyle that they want for the Huntress class. And then finally, we've got 25% increased critical strike chance and some attack speed. And then we've got this duo node here, which is basically like different ways of playing around with crit. Your critical strike chance is lucky, and you have 50% less critical strike multiplier if you have shapeshifted recently. So this is obviously a boon that you're getting if you're shapeshifting, but it's increasing your crit chance but massively reducing your crit multis. So this could be really good if you're trying to trigger things based off of crits. Wolf shape-shifting skills instead transform you into Werecat form, and we heard about Werecat form all the way back in 2019, and then it's been mysterious because people have been thinking, well, it's been a long time since they've added the Druid, they've announced all the different shape-shifting forms for the Druid, or Druid's, shape-shifting skills. Will the Werecat form make it? So I really liked the idea of that, and I thought, let's bring it back and have it something unique for the Ascendancy. What does it do though? So wolf skills deal 22% less damage and have 22% increased attack speed. Whilst you're shapeshifted, you're also gaining a 50% more effectiveness of your dexterity, but 50% less of your strength. This is obviously playing into this idea that you're very slender, you're quick, you're agile, you're dexterous, but you're not quite as strong. So this could be a really interesting for maybe, dex stacking builds. You're not actually stacking the attribute, but the benefits you're getting from it are being increased. So then we've got Slender Form, and this is a very, very similar node. That's why they're a duo node, but it's just a more defensive version of it. So everything from the top line down is the same. You're still getting Werecat Form, and in Werecat Form, you can use any wolf skills or any wolf shape-shifting skills, essentially, but instead you're going to become a Werecat, and you gain increased attack speed. You're also getting the benefits of the dexterity and the decreases on your strength, but this time the top line is just different. So instead of it being about crit, this is your chance to evade is lucky, and you have 50% less armor if you shapeshifted recently. So there's a couple of nodes there that I think might create the foundation for some interesting builds, things around decks, things about having lucky chance to crit, but then reduce multiplier, etc. And the same for evasion and armor. All right, so that is the tree. That is the Beastmaster. I absolutely love doing this one. I know I say this about all of them, but I've been having a lot of fun. And this one was really cool because it was a theme and an idea that we'd seen from GGG all the way back, you know, what, 5 years ago now, which seems crazy to say. I can't believe we are getting the game in a month as well. How exciting. So the idea now is that we are going to be releasing one of these. We're essentially going to be releasing a video every day up until early access, which is a crazy thing to say and a very ambitious thing to say, but I'm confident that we've been cooking, we've been streaming, live streaming. Go follow us on Twitch and you can see us creating these live, but we're nearly there with most of them. And we've got some other bits that we've been working on, stuff like league content and a few other little collabs that we've got coming down the line. So yeah, very, very excited. It's an exciting time for the channel. It's an exciting time to be a PoE fan. I hope you enjoyed the Beastmaster. Of course, let me know what you think. I love the idea. I think for me, like, you know, I always try and do this favorite node thing now. And I think for me, it's got to be this trio node here, the Farrell stuff. I just think this opens up so many interesting ideas of different ways to inflict bleed. You can inflict massive bleeds and then turning your bleeds into poison with this kind of like, you know, feral bite, this poisonous rabid bite kind of idea. I think it's really cool. Getting aspect of the cat and making it work slightly differently is just a really exciting idea to me and something to have like available to you. And then obviously being able to mount, you know, your cat and then power them and get all these boons and stuff from having like a cheetah companion or something would be really, really fun. So thank you so much as always for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe if you're sort of digging this and you're enjoying the stuff on the channel. We're going to have loads more of this kind of stuff coming. And obviously like the video if you liked it. But until next time, friends, exiles, I'll see you in the next one. Ta-da.